All right, so I got a request for help for questions 14, 15, 16, and 20. So here we go. Question number 14 says, based on the data shown in the graph, how many boxes will the shipping company be able to pack in an 18-hour period? So we got to first look at what are we comparing, and we're comparing boxes. Okay, so we're comparing boxes to be packed and hours. So I'm going to put boxes and hours. If you put, packed and hours, that's fine too. We need our line equals line. So we're ready to go ahead and fill in what we know. So looking at the graph, we have to find a point that's going to be able to tell us exactly what we need. So looking here, at this point, I don't really know what I'm looking at. Here I don't, here I don't, and here I don't. But this one here is exactly on 60 and on 5. So that's going to give me some really good base information to start with. And so here, boxes packed is 60, hours is 5, and so I'm going to be able to go ahead and move forward with what I need to do. So here, we're looking for how many boxes in an 18-hour period. So because I have my hours on the denominator, that's where my 18 is going to go. And then I just have to look, do I know how to get from 5 to 18? Not really easily. But do I know how to get from 5 to 60? And I do. So as long as my arrow is pointing to my blank or to my variable, then I'm in good shape. So to get from 5 to 60, I'm going to multiply by 12. So I need to do that on the other side. And then so I have 18 times 12. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And then go ahead and multiply that out. I get 8, 9, 10, 11. So that'll give me 216 boxes is going to be my answer. For number 15, it says based on the date shown, that should be data, so I guess there was a typo on this. Based on the data shown in the graph, how many hours will it take the shipping company to pack 120 boxes? So same thing, we're looking at boxes and hours. So we'll set it up the same as before. And again, I'm going to use the same baseline of 60 over 5. And I'm looking for 120 boxes. So here, as long as I'm pointing to my blank, again, I'm in good shape. And so 60 to 120, that's simply multiplying by 2. So if I do that on the bottom, I'm going to end up with 10 hours. Question number 16. The public library has volunteers to return books to the shelves after they've been returned. Lisa shelves 175 books in 25 minutes. Patricia shelves 180 books in 45 minutes. So we have books in minutes. And the question is, how many books does Patricia shelve each minute? So we have the word each, and so we know that's going to be 1 minute. And so here we're going to just fill in what we need. So we're looking at Patricia. Well, Patricia does 180 books in 45 minutes. So now again, we just have to make sure that our arrow is pointing to our blank. So from 45 to 1, I'm going to divide by 45. And then I need to do the same thing on the top, divide by 45. So that's going to give me 180 divided by 45. And that's going to be 45 times 2 is 90. 90 times 2 is 180. So that should give me 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 2. Yeah, 18. So that's going to give me that Patricia shelves 4 books every 1 minute. Alright, question number 20. A recipe that makes 16 blueberry muffins calls for a half cup of flour. So far we've had this exact question on 2 of our assignments. And so this is the 3rd time we're seeing it, and we'll probably see something similar to this on the test. So we'll definitely want to make sure that we know how to do this. How much flour is needed to make 64 muffins using this recipe? So we're comparing muffins to flour, or cups of flour. And so I'm going to use C for cups. Alright, so put our labels, and then now we have 16 muffins every time we have 1/2 cup of flour. A couple of ways to do this would be to just extend it out. So if I multiply by 2, then I'm going to get 1 cup of flour, because a half and a half is going to give me a whole. That'll give me 32, and then so that gives me my unit rate. And so from there, I'm looking for 64 cups. 64 muffins. How do I get from 32 to 64? Well, I multiply by 2. So again, I can multiply by 2. 1 times 2 is 2, and that will give me my answer of 2 cups of flour. And another way that we can do it is we can just set it up like we did, know that we're trying to get to 64, and then if we can recognize that to get from 16 to 64, I'm going to multiply by 4, and we can just go directly there. So then a half times 4, well, 4 halves. So if I have 4 half pizzas and I put them all together to save room, that's going to end up with 2 pizzas, right? So then my denominator's 2. We're looking at cups. So again, 2 cups is our answer. You can do it either way. Go in each individual little step, or you can, if you recognize a way to get straight there, you can do that also. One final way that you can do it, so say you didn't really notice either of those, you can try to figure out, well, how do I get from, so I remember I have to point to my blank, so how do I get from 16 down to a half? And so you can try to figure out that, and just through dividing it out, you may end up finding out that 16 divided by 32 is going to give me a half. 64 divided by 32 will end up getting me 2. To me, that's the more complex way, but just know that there are multiple ways to do this same problem and get that same answer. Hope you find this helpful. If not, let me know and I'll see if we can do more. Thanks.